Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Pain to Passion Live. I have one of my very favorite humans here on the show today, and I'm so excited for you all to meet her and to get to know her because she has the most beautiful heart. This is my friend Lori. Lori, say hello.
Hey, oh, Gabby, that was so sweet. Thank you,
Oh
Gabby, for
my
being so
gosh.
nice and so sweet to me.
I mean every word. I'm not just trying to be sweet and butter you up, I promise.
I do have a kind of a pretty heart, but I also have a
You're wonderful. No, she really is. So I met Lori through Amberly Lago's mastermind. We're in the Unstoppable Life mastermind together. And she is just so very gifted in helping people love themselves and really plug into learning how to be compassionate to themselves. And she's a really good question asker. Like, I don't think she realizes how skilled she is
Well,
in
thank you.
asking great questions, but I think that's a really wonderful and important skill. And she's just a blessing. But I want you to kind of just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you're about.
Well, I am, as Gabby said, Lori McAfee. I am from North Georgia, if y'all couldn't tell with the accent here, but and I am a little bit about getting to know and love who you are, finding true authenticity and accepting yourself. That's what I want other people. I want everyone to meet who they truly are.
Mm, yeah, it's true. She does. She's adamant about it. Yeah, I love that. And I think there's like so many different messages and coaches and things out there, but this specifically that you focus on, especially I'll say, maybe this is a little bit of a tangent, but especially as like a Christian woman, I
Mhm.
feel like this is missed a lot of the time in faith spaces, like this step in uncovering how to move forward in your life,
Yeah.
specifically is how to love yourself. So, Lori, I would love to just hear your story. Like, why do you do what you do? What brought you to this place? Whatever you'd like to share, we would love to hear it.
Well, what brought me to become a coach was standing at the end of my driveway and knowing I could go left or I could go right. And I laughed at the fact that I could be halfway across the country before anybody knew that I was gone.
Mm,
And I knew that was a very twisted thought for me. And, but I knew I had a choice. And I think the most painful part to me was the fact that I laughed about it.
mm,
Um, like I didn't care. And that part is not me either. And so I reached out to my sister, phone a friend, and she was like, yeah, that's not right. Like, you've got to do something. And so I started on this journey of trying to figure out what was going on in my life. And my pain and the good and the bad choices became a blurred line.
mm,
And I wanted to know how could I readjust that focus so that I wasn't mixing all of that together. And what I discovered is I'd lost myself.
mm.
I didn't know myself. I sure didn't love myself. Um, I loved my family, but their love wasn't enough. I loved Jesus, but his love wasn't enough. And so I had to myself kind of unravel everything to reweave the parts into my tapestry, um, to make it the story that we're headed into now. And so looking back, all of my life has been a choice.
Mm,
Um, it kind of started when I was 17 and got pregnant. And I came from an amazing family. I have the most wonderful mom and dad and sisters that anyone could ever ask for. And they were my biggest fans during that entire time. one of
Wow.
the things, yeah, it's not normal. I think
Mm.
now looking back, I thought it was, but obviously it's not. There's so many people who don't know what that's like, and I want everyone to know what that's like.
Mhm.
And but when I think about that time, one of the hardest things for me was my relationship with God. And obviously it was a little bit of a struggle, but I also was asked to remove my membership out of the church that I
Wow.
belonged to. Um, not bad talking, not bashing, not anything like that, but it's the truth, you know. And so the thing is that I had a choice again to make. You know, do I make an acknowledgement to the congregation for my sin that I was obviously carrying to them, or do I take my letter out? And I took my letter out.
Mm.
And for years, it stayed in my parents' Bible at home. And I never realized the impact that that had on me until recently. And
Wow.
I'm 50. But that's a rejection, you know, that you feel rejected by people you love the most,
Yeah.
including God at that time. But that
Mm.
wasn't him, you know, that was a man-made rule, and that was not a reflection upon his love for me. And so that has definitely made me a better person, though, because now I I love the person. I'm not going to judge the person.
Mhm.
Um, as you know, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, and it's good with me. Like I may not agree. I may not agree, but I'm gonna love you anyway.
Mm.
So anyway, fast forward a lot of years. And hold on, let me back up. Let me tell this important part. So my friend comes to my house one day. I'm still 17, sitting at my mom and dad's, and she says, "Hey, we're all going out Saturday night, and we want you to meet this guy." And I'm like, listen, there's not a decent guy in the world going to want to date me now. That's what I thought about myself,
Mm.
being 17, having a baby. She was like, "He's so much fun." And I said, "Okay." So my mom, one thing we had always agreed on is I would always take responsibility of being a mom, and I would always put that responsibility first, but they would also allow me the opportunity to enjoy being a teenager. And
Mhm.
so they still allowed me that time to go, you know, and not allowed me, but they gave me that option, you know. And so if I wanted to go somewhere, they were okay with it. I did not abuse that fact.
Mhm.
So I said, "Yeah, I'll go." And so, you know, I got dressed up, and we were going to go to this little joint sidebar, whatever you want to call it, in North Carolina. And so when we pulled up, I'd already like made my mind up I was not going to be interested in this guy. But when we pulled up, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's like the most amazing thing I've ever seen."
Wow.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, "Why did she do this to me? This is not what I wanted." So we completely danced the night away, and I had the most fun. And I come home and tell my mom, "I met the man I'm going to marry."
Wow.
I said, "I don't know how. Like, we didn't exchange numbers. I don't know anything really about him, but I'm going to marry him." She was like, "Okay." You know, so um, 2 months later, he called me,
Wow.
and we've been together ever since.
Oh my
So
gosh.
our
So
love,
sweet.
it's a beautiful love story, but it's not a love story without a lot of trial either.
Mm.
Um, and so that is one of the things that led me to this point in my life. As good as our marriage has always been, there was a point when we went left and couldn't remember when it was right.
Mm.
And in that time is when I wanted to run. I wanted to escape. I didn't want to have to mess with it, deal with it anymore. Um, so in that, I went on this self-awareness journey. And the things that I learned about myself were very interesting. I had discovered that not only did I not love myself, but I didn't let other people love me.
Mm.
I completely kept everyone at arm's length. that I would allow you, I would love you. Like I would bring you in, I would love you with everything that's in me, want the best for you, be your biggest fan. I was there for you and I would love you. But I didn't want you to love me because I could control that.
Yeah.
Like how much a person loved me, I had no control over, except my actions, obviously. But I never really allowed my husband a chance to love me. And one night I said, here's what it is. Here's the way that it is. And here's where I'm at. And as amazing as our love is, and as amazing as our marriage is, I can't go on anymore. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm at. I do not like the life that I'm living because I feel like I have such a mask on. I've poured so much into other people. I've put so many different masks on to appease this person, or to appease that person, or to try to fit in here, or try to fit in there. And it's not who I am. And my husband and I have created an amazing, successful business. He's a dentist and I've worked with him for 27 years now. And, but I was like, I'm willing to walk away from it all. But it's either that or we've got to really sit down and have some hard conversations. Here's what I need from you, and here's what I need to give you. And so we just laid it all out on the table. And there's a country music song that says when everything, you strip it all away. And that's what we did. We just tore everything down and kind of rehashed a whole lot of years, like 30 something years, in a few moments.
Wow.
Yeah. To say that it's been, don't make the mistake, the thoughts of being that it's been so easy since then either, because it's not. But we know where each other stands. And we know that, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you how I feel. Here's what I need from you. And he says the same thing to me, and we meet each other where we're at. But that led me into being a coach. So with that being said, I got my own coach in all that time to try to figure all this stuff out,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. I didn't want other people to always know everything about me. And I didn't want everybody to know things about him. So I was like, who am I going to talk to? So my sister gave me the number to a lady, and I reached out to her, and it was life-changing to me.
Yeah, I bet.
Opening up and listening, and listening to things that she would ask me, and then my response to that, and hearing myself say those things. There's a lot of power in hearing yourself say things.
Yeah.
So I just said things that I knew about myself. And again, it led me to here. And one day I was like asking her questions. She said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm just asking you some things, like, all this about me. I've poured my entire heart out to you. So like, it's your turn. I want to know your story." Because that's another thing that I love. I want to know your story. I want to know what makes you tick. Because if I know what makes you tick, if I know where you came from, if I know pieces of your story, then I can help you to get to inside you, because we've all got that song inside us that we want to sing. And I want to help you sing it. And so that's one of the things, and it's a choice. And so I asked her questions, and she was like, "Why do you not coach? Like, you need to start doing this."
Wow.
I said, maybe, my husband called me that day, and he said, "Hey, Lori, I've heard so many people talking about the suicide rate has increased, and people are so lonely, and people don't know what to do. And you are so good at listening to people. Have you thought about doing like coaching or counseling or something like that?" I was like, "No, but you're the second one." So I had a real heart to heart with God that day. And I am all about, you got to make it a neon sign for me, God, because like, I don't want to just go out on a limb and think that this is what you said. And I need to know, like, I want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is where we're at. And I said, you sent two, send me one more. Send me a third person. I'll wait as long as it takes for you to send me this third person. And so a couple of days later, one of my employees came into my office and she said, I want to thank you for always being there for me, for pushing me to be better, for helping me to become the person I am today. My family goes to church, my husband's in church, and you've been the example. You've been the one who's helped me get there. And I just want to thank you for always being by my side.
Wow.
I said, I got it, God. I got it. Like, I get it. I'll coach. I will coach. But I love it. I love coaching because I love to see people meet their true, authentic self, to discover these things about them that they've covered up for so long that they don't want to expose to anybody because they're afraid, or they're wearing this mask for that. Or like I said earlier, the way I was doing, we don't have to live like that.
Mm-hmm.
We can just be who God created us to be and live in that and walk in our purpose every day. So that's pretty much why I'm here, Gobby, and why you met me.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy right now because I just got to hear a lot more of your story than I've heard before. And I'm so thankful. It's beautiful. It's absolutely true. Like, so many of us find us in that spot, even after years of potentially a seemingly great situation.
Yeah.
And we're like, who am I? Like, what am I doing right now? I'm so confused. So I'm curious, because you used early on, you used the word unraveling, like it was a big unraveling. I'm curious kind of what that process looked like for you to go from you're showing up a certain way to you have an awareness that that way that you're showing up is not you, but you're not really quite sure who you are, to uncovering and unraveling yourself to the point where you understood who you were. Because I think a lot of us get stuck in the middle of like, I know that something's not right, but I really am not quite sure who I am. So what did that look like for you?
I had to go back to what I knew was true. I had to get back to what I believed, to my values, to the things I held the most closest to my heart. I had to really learn to listen to myself. I had to learn to listen to the things that I was saying to myself and the things I was saying to other people about myself. I had to own my story. One of the funniest things that happened with me and Ken, I didn't want people to know I had a baby when I was 17. There's some shame that goes along with that. You know, there really is. Society makes it shameful. And obviously my situation with church made it a little bit more difficult. But and I didn't want my people to question my husband or to make my daughter feel any less than either. So I was very protective of that. But one year when somebody asked me, Kim, like, how long have you been married? And I said, oh my goodness, we've been married for so long. We don't even know how long it is. The truth is, we knew exactly how long it is. We had just lied so much about it.
Yeah.
So that day I was like, Ken, no more. That's over. I'm going to own that. Like, I'm not going to be ashamed of that anymore, because that's something that God gave me, and he gave me that for a reason. And I'm going to use that. And whatever people think, that's on them, but I'm going to own my story. And so I learned to own my story. So the unraveling process was difficult, because it was like you took a blanket that was beautiful and it was so well put together and so colorful, and you would just take out colors that piece by piece by piece by piece, and you would say, I don't want that color in there anymore. Like I don't want that. I don't like that color. That does not suit me. I'm not doing it anymore. And then I remembered my values. Like, what do I really stand for? Like, I really want to stand on my values, my beliefs, and I'm not going to be pushed on that. It's going to be real. It's going to be raw. It's going to be authentic. This is me, and you take it or leave it. I have a lot to offer, and that's on you if you don't want it.
Yes, girl.
And to experience life I don't want to miss a thing. I don't want to miss an entire thing. And my grandchildren, oh, look, I'm going to get so emotional. My grandchildren have taught me that, to not miss a single thing, to put your phone down, to be fully present in what you're doing, to spend that time with each and every one. And my middle granddaughter told my husband one time for him to take his sunglasses off. She wanted to see his eyes. And he was like, the sun's bright. Like, I don't want to take my sunglasses off. She said, no, but I want you to see me. And I talk to you. I want you to hear me when I talk to you. She wanted him to fully experience what she had to say.
Mm.
And that made me stop and realize, what am I missing? Because, Gabi, we both know we don't get this day back. This day comes around one time. And what if we miss that really special moment because we're so focused on something that's not positive? We're focused on things that aren't giving us goodness. Our phone, social media, all the stuff that we bring into our world that's self-induced.
Mm-hmm.
The lies we believe. We miss so much because we consume our minds with so much that does not serve us.
Yeah.
And so when you think about it, this is what it comes down to. You listen to yourself, you own your story, you know your values, and you align them, and you experience life. And that comes down to love.
So good.
Love is the secret ingredient. And the greatest thing I ever did for anyone is learning to love myself.
So good. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. It is. It is. Self-diagnostic. Let's say someone comes to you and you want to know if they love themselves or not, but they are not sure. Like, what are some ways that you can tell, like, yes, I do love myself, or no, I don't? What are some markers that we can look for in ourselves to know whether or not that's the case? I'll just say, is again, as like coming from a faith-based background, I think that this can be really challenging.
It is.
Because there's been such skewed teachings on what love actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And being selfless has turned into like not even paying attention to yourself at all. Right?
Yeah.
So you might think that you're being loving and kind to yourself when you're not. So if you're talking to someone new, what do you kind of look for, or how can you help them understand if they don't love themselves?
How do they let other people treat them? The power that they give other people is one. The boundaries that they set, if they go above and beyond to please people. Mm-hmm. So they're willing to compromise themselves for other people. I am all for serving others, and I am all for putting other people in front of me. Mm-hmm. But I also am all for 100% loving and taking care of myself, because I can't give to you what I don't have.
Right.
And so for those people who have allowed people to dictate to them how they're going to live their life, or they feel like they've let people run over them all their life, and they've not set boundaries, and they suffer at the cost of someone else or the consequences of someone else. They are the ones who are suffering from them. Little things that they'll say, are like, I'm not going to do this because that might hurt their feelings. Okay, it might hurt their feelings. You're right. Yeah. What's it going to do to you? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? Well, I wouldn't do it. So that kind of thing.
Yeah.
People just say little subtle things, and I'll just come out and ask, do you love who you are? And what I hear, especially from the Christian community, is, well, I can't. Uh-huh. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And here's my thoughts on that is, and this is why I say you need to read scripture for yourself so you can interpret it and understand it for yourself. But my interpretation of this is where God says to love yourself as your neighbor. Well, love your neighbor as yourself. I'm sorry. How are we going to love our neighbor if we don't love who we are?
Mm-hmm.
And scripture already assumes we love who we are out of reverence of who created us.
Yeah.
Because why would we not love God? And if we are created in his image, why would we love who we are?
Mm-hmm. So
if
good.
we believe he is who he says he is, and we believe that he created us and we are his masterpiece, then what's not to love?
Mm-hmm.
Do I like everything about me? Goodness, no. But I love who I have become. I love the life that I live. Is it perfect? No, it's not. There have been some trials in my life. There have been some hard times in my life. But I love God and I love who he created me to be, to serve his purpose, because my purpose here on earth has eternal value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. As you've grown in this area of loving yourself, like how has that changed how you see God? Because I know your experience as a 17-year-old, that was pretty traumatic, like your church rejecting you, and that gets so confused with who God is and all of that. How has that changed your faith and your view of God?
And I want to say that as far as the church rejecting me, those are good people. They're very good people. It's just they've lived by tradition.
Right.
And they were just doing what they were told to do,
Right.
so that's not a reflection on them personally. That wasn't the only time that I felt rejected from God. It hasn't been many years ago that I stood in my backyard and I actually said, God, I am mad as hell at you.
Mm.
And I was very mad at him.
Yeah.
And I was okay that I was mad at him at that moment in my life. And he let me know real quick that it was okay. He loved me anyway. And that we together were going to get through this. That I had to call on his strength. But I look at it differently now. Like I crave to know the scripture. Like I want to know the scripture. Like, and I want to share that with people because I think it's so rich and it's so loving and so tender and so gentle. And I know that there's some wrath to it. I get that too. I see that part too. But there's so much goodness and there's so many things in our life that has so much value for eternity in it.
Yeah.
And I view God as just someone that I adore, someone that I have the utmost respect for, someone that I want to strive every day to live my life for. I fail miserably, but it's okay. It's okay. I am perfectly imperfect, loved by a perfect God. And that's the way that I live my life. It may not be to anybody else's standards, but I know what scripture tells me.
I love that.
It's not the standards of humans, it's the standards of God's word.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. And how has it affected your relationships? Like how you relate with other people? Have you seen that you have new and different boundaries or standards, or like what have been some big things that you've experienced in that realm?
Big boundaries. New boundaries. That's probably the biggest change in me, is that I have set those boundaries. And I will and I won't tolerate some things. If it's not going to serve me, I don't want to be a part of it. It's caused some friendships to dissipate, and that's okay. And I love them, but that doesn't mean that we have to sit at the same table. And, I have sat at tables that Jesus would have overturned. And I've allowed myself to sit there. But no more.
Wow.
the boundaries has been the biggest for me, even with my husband. I was 100% felt guilty if I wasn't at work with him every single day and doing exactly what he needed me to do and wanted me to do, because he's been very dependent upon me in this practice. And together we have made a very successful practice, and we've built this, and I love what we do as a couple working together in our practice. However, God's called me to a different season of life. And so I had told my husband the first of this year, I said, I'm going to be 50. And starting January, I'm only going to work 2 days. And he was like, what? No, that's not going to happen. And I was like, okay. And my dad was even like, Lori, that's never going to work. Like, we know how dependent Ken is upon you. Like, it's not going to work. And I was like, okay. And it has. And he's been really okay with it.
Wow. Good for you.
It's been so great for our relationship as well. I still help him at the office. I'm still there for him. I'm still his biggest fan. I still go in if I need to. And I don't get upset or complain if I have to go in on days I don't want to work. But also he knows, like, I've got a job to do. My job is coaching people so that they will know and love who they truly are, and live an authentic life. And like I said, discover that song inside them and sing it. And I always felt like I was quieted. And no more. No more.
Wow. What a beautiful blossoming, Lori.
It took me a long time, but I'm here.
Well, I find that those who are really able to help others achieve the goal that they're working towards are those that it kind of took a long time, because you really understand the process. You understand the patience, you understand the different challenges people are going to face along the way, because it took a while for you. So I'm sorry that you had to bear the brunt of that time, but I know that it's a blessing, like, for the people that you get to work with, because you've had so much experience with that.
I've had, from getting pregnant at 17, not great relationships with boys in school, and the church situation, and then trying to figure out life and navigate it, being very poor in school when my husband was in school, because I put my husband through 4 years of dental school, and being extremely poor, like driving home from Birmingham with a quarter to my name. And my favorite store was Goodwill. And those are truths. I mean, those are things that, those are truths. And, to getting pregnant and not expecting to, with our second daughter, opening a dental practice when I found out I was pregnant, again, zero money, to my daughter turning 18 and moving out on her own accord against our better judgment. And then, some issues and struggles in our marriage, and issues and struggles in friendships, and problems with kids, so I've had a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff going on in my lifetime. But I know that my pain is not without purpose.
Absolutely.
And if I had to go through what I had to go through for another woman or another man to know who they are and to love who they are, to live an authentic life and accept their self, then it was worth it.
That's beautiful. You're amazing.
Well, thank you. I love you so much.
I love you too. I would love for people to be able to connect with you. I'll put all of your links and everything in the show notes, but can you tell us the best ways to connect with you, or how to work with you, all of those kinds of things?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all those social media platforms. I have a website. It's LoriMcAfeeCoaching.com. And you can find me there and sign up, and I will be glad to talk to someone and to help them on their journey. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love to get in front of people and talk and tell my story and help people through this process. If one person walks away with value, that's all that matters. Even if it's a crowd of 10,000.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. You have such a genuine heart for people, and it shines through. I'm sure that those listening have caught that as well. So go and follow Lori on social media, you guys. Reach out to her if you want to connect about coaching. She's launching a podcast coming up too. You want to tell us about it?
Yes. So my podcast, I really struggled. This is the funniest part. I really struggled with the name. And God have talked about the name and talked about the name. But the name is Get Your Rear End Gear with Lori, because that's what I had to do to become who I am today. I had to get my rear end gear. And that's what I would tell anybody. If you know what you're supposed to do, just make a choice and get your rear end gear and let's do it. Yeah. And so on there, yep, that's what we're going to do, is just really I'm going to give tips and talk about a lot of things that helped me and different things that I have found valuable, and do some interviews with people as well, just conversational, as the things that's helped them. My husband and I are going to be on there together, so I'm looking forward to those. And my sisters and I are going to be on there together. So cool. A lot of cool different dynamics and how you can put things together and how you can make life work and find contentment in your season and still live authentically. Oh,
I love it. So definitely keep an eye out, guys, because I'm sure she'll be posting when everything is launched and all the stuff, because we'll need to all go subscribe to Get Your Rear End Gear with Lori. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. Well, thank you for your time today, my friend. I so appreciate you. This is going to be such a great episode for women and men to just be really encouraged. And I just love you so much. I love you too, Gabi. And thank you so much for the opportunity. And I can't wait for your community to hear more about you and to see more about you. Oh, you're so sweet. Because I'm awesome. You are very awesome. You absolutely are awesome. Oh my goodness. See, I'm just claiming it. I'm loving myself over here. That's right. And if you don't, well, you will. Yep, I believe it. Well, thank you, friend. I'll talk to you soon. Sorry. Yes. Have a good day. You too. Bye. Bye.